In a study by Attili Arali and al., there is evidence to support relationship between gamification and accuracy and speed. However, these results were minimal. Limitations were noted by the researchers, explaining that the length of time was very brief, so the benefits might not be evident. In addition, this educational activity, topic, and type of questions should be taken into consideration in addition to the participants who were in the study. DeMarcos and all of his associates looked at an investigation of gamification and social networking on e-learning. The results concluded that the academic performance on practical skill assignments increased significantly, but for tasks that required deeper processing and knowledge acquisition, such as writing, the control group outperformed the treatment group. Gordon, Bradshaw, and Gray. They studied the longitudinal relationship between students who were able to attempt learning more activities more than once without the pressure of failure. Given the opportunity to redo challenges, even with little reteaching, these students increased their achievement by 10%. Though there was an overarching theme of positive motivation and engagement toward gamification elements and mechanics, not all studies found positive changes in student achievement. Some researchers suggested that while gamification can help develop practical competencies, it can also negatively impact understanding of more complex and abstract concepts. Some limitations include the amount of time, functionality of instruments, and too much emphasis on achievement, collection, and competition. The context in which any study is delivered is really important and carries great value. It's critical to consider the participants' attitudes and skill levels prior to entering that environment, and using best teaching practices is always the best key to success. The proposed research method for this course includes research questions that focus on: can gamification impact student motivation and engagement? Can gamification impact learner performance and achievement? The hypothesis for both of these is that there is a non-directional hypothesis that says there is a relationship between gamification and student motivation, and there is a relationship between gamification and learner performance. Participants for this study would be fourth grade students. Therefore, it would be important to gain permission from their parents. This would be 40 students. The students would be split evenly, 50% boys and 50% girls. They are varying ability levels, however, many students are gifted and talented. 5% of the population is Black, 5% is Hispanic, 30% is Asian, and 60% is Caucasian. The treatment group would be taught with gamification strategies, and the comparison group would be taught without those gamification strategies, using a more traditional approach. The design of the method. The design would be to teach those students with gamification strategies such as badges, experience points, quests, and avatars. Lessons would be focused more around meaningful stories and engaging activities. The comparison group would be using traditional methods, such as grades, lectures, projects, and textbooks. Materials. Badges would need to be created based on learning objectives. Experience points and a badge chart would need to be designed. Avatars would be created by students. Quests would be the lessons. Standardized tests and a Likert scale survey would need to be created in order to collect data. After a 9-week period had concluded, each group would need to take a release STAR test. In addition, they would also take Likert scale surveys to determine their motivation. The instruments are mentioned previously, the standardized test and a Likert scale survey. The data analysis would be mixed methods. Anticipated results of the study. In regards to the first research question, can gamification impact student motivation and engagement? The hypothesis that there would be a relationship. Based on the previous studies that were conducted, there would be a relationship between engagement and gamification. I would also like to think that there would be a positive relationship. When the studies of the results came out from other papers, this seemed to be a relationship. There was seldom no relationship whatsoever, and given the variability in studies, it's plausible to think that there might be no relationship, but it's highly unlikely. In regards to the second research question, can gamification impact learner performance and achievement? It's also anticipated that this hypothesis would be correct. Given the results in similar studies, it could be anticipated for these variables to have a positive correlation. However, after researching this topic, I would not rule out that there could be no relationship or even potentially a negative relationship. Discussion and conclusion. Many studies showed a relationship between gamification and motivation, but it was a slightly weaker relationship between gamification and learning. It's important for future researchers to study the more specific elements of gamification and their impact on different things like motivation and learning, but not just motivation and learning as a generalized concept, but as more specific components, such as the study that looked at the different types of motivation in regards to need satisfaction. We need to avoid overgeneralizations. Some limitations in previous studies include an overgeneralization of gamification strategies. Other generalizations in the specific study mentioned in this research paper would be time, struggles with availability of resources. Also, a large population of the participants was gifted, in addition to also being high in socioeconomic status. In the future, it's definitely important that studies on gamification continue to build the evidence and supporting details of gamification and how it can impact things such as learning and motivation. Thank you for your time.